Hi, I'm Gary Call, and I'm going to demo to you Tableau dashboards. So let me log into my test site here. Eventually we're going to have single sign-on, but for now we're going to have to log in. So under Tableau I have all my proof of concept Tableau dashboards, but before I get into Tableau I wanted to briefly go over how we plan to navigate through our websites. So I plan to include my contacts, so users can enter their contact information. I may include my tasks. This is where I enter my task information. I also envision us having grids like this in all our websites so users can edit directly on each cell and then click Save Changes, or they can hover over this menu here to create a flyout menu and select Detail, Edit, Delete, Attach Files, go to Websites, Event Logs, or email their task or record. So each record will have a flyout menu. One of the things I envision us having is drag and drop sorting. So for example, this is how I prioritize my tasks. So all our websites will have drag and drop sorting. I also envision us having a library of tutorials. So for example, I'll have a list of Tableau tutorials so users can learn how to navigate through our websites and applications. So now let's get into Tableau. So let me click on Alerts. So this dashboard is coming from Tableau Public. Up here I have my menu bar, which is global to all my proof of concept Tableau dashboards. If I had to make a change, I would only make a change in one place. Over to my right are my Tableau parameters. Over here is my host parameter. So with the Tableau Action URL, it knows which URL to go to because I may be going to development, staging, or production. So with the Tableau Action URL, I can select an object, or a bar in this case, click on this link here, and it's going to drill down to another dashboard from the selected object. The drawback with the Tableau Action URL is that you can only select a single object at a time, but with the JavaScript API event listeners, you can select multiple objects. I can hold down my control key and select a couple more objects or bars. I can also change my alert here. Let's lower it. So when I lower the revenue amount on my alert here, it's going to change this red alert to a yellow warning. So I can click outside of the dashboard or enter, and it's going to change to a yellow warning. So let's post these items. So now drill down and you can see these selected items and the change I made here. I can also update my database. So here's a grid and pie chart using Telerik components. Let me close this guy. So let's reload. So with the Tableau JavaScript API, you can filter outside of the dashboard. I can click here to filter red alerts. So now you only see red alerts here. So now let's go into user hits. So with the JavaScript API event listeners, I can select multiple users. I can hold down the control key. So under dentistry, I can select Heidi, I can select Lauren, and under the school of pharmacy, I can select myself and my manager, James Hovez. So let's post these users. So it's going to bring up two dashboards here, Tableau dashboards, and to my left are own resources such as UCSF directory and reporting services. So for myself, I'll click on reporting services here. It's going to bring up a dashboard from reporting services, a task dashboard. So it's basically getting my user ID, which I got from Tableau's selections, and referencing our task table to come up with our task dashboard. So let me close this guy. So you can use the best of both worlds. You can use Tableau dashboards or your own resources as well. So let me close this guy. So now let's go to actual versus budget. What I'm going to show you here is how we can click on a button to switch to another dashboard. So I'm going to click on sample 2. So I'm using cookies to switch to a different dashboard. Basically, I have cookie flags that says if it's equal to 1, show this dashboard, or if it's equal to 2, show another dashboard. But you can also use the JavaScript API to do the same thing using switch methods. So what I'm going to show you next is Tableau Stories. With that Tableau Stories, you can have captions to explain your dashboard. Here I have my calculated field, which shows my alert formula. So I envision us using Tableau Stories a lot. So that's going to be really helpful. So now let's go into VBAW. So we plan on bringing in office diagrams to track our indirect costs. So in this proof of concept, I wanted to show that we can also bring in an image and bring in players by plotting XY coordinates. So this is UCSF versus the Golden State Warriors. So I also wanted to show that we could filter outside of the dashboard using the JavaScript API. So if I click here at point guard, it's me versus Stephen Curry. At shooting guard, it's my manager James Hovez versus Klay Thompson. At small forward, it's my manager's manager Michael Norberg versus KD. At power forward, it's Dave versus Draymond Green. And at center, it's our 6'9" Bill Neely versus DeMarcus Cousins. So this is our home court. So if we were to play a road game, we would be playing at the Oracle Arena. So I'll click on this button here. This shows that I can bring in another image. This is the Oracle Arena, and plot another set of XY coordinates. So here, sample 2 just shows another look, another image look. And here I have my stats, positions, and names. And in the real world, you probably would have assists, rebounds, and points scored. So again, you can use the JavaScript API event listeners to select multiple objects. But let's do this on another example. Here are the Golden State Warriors All-Stars. I can use the JavaScript API event listeners to select DeMarcus Cousins, Stephen Curry. Notice that the players are here when I select them, and KD. And I can post these players, and I have my selected players here. And close this guy. So now let's go to progression. So I was able to mimic the Tableau motion chart. With the Tableau motion chart, you can plot your XY coordinates, see it move, and see changes over time. The drawback of motion charts is that it only works on Tableau desktop. You can't publish it. So I was able to mimic the Tableau motion charts using Tableau Public or Tableau Server. So basically all you need to do is loop through your Tableau Public URL in this case, and you have to make sure that your format is equal to a PNG so that it's an image file, so that when you move to the next image, it does it really fast. Here's my growth parameter. It's a Tableau parameter, query string. So when it's equal to 1, it's going to go to a specific image. If it's equal to 2, it's going to go to another image, all the way up to 8. So to my left, you'll see a flower growing, and to my right is the She-Hulk transforming, which is she's a Marvel superhero, she's transforming to the She-Hulk. So the reason why I have two dashboards here is because I wanted to show that you may have, for example, a revenue dashboard which is separate to your cost dashboard, and you wanted to see how revenue correlates with your cost dashboard over time. And what I have here is that where you can hover over the dashboard and it'll pause so you can explain the dashboard to somebody. And when you're done, you can just move off of the dashboard and it's going to continue going to the next image. So in sample 2, it's bringing in the dashboard the normal way. You see radio buttons, and you can click on a radio button to see, for example, this flower growing, or you can see the She-Hulk transforming to the She-Hulk. Okay, so what's next? Now let's go to map donors. So over here we have super donors who have contributed $2 million or more, major donors who have contributed $1 million or more, and top donors who contributed $100,000 or more. So you see these flags here, and you can see them all over this map. And we can also use the JavaScript API event listener to select multiple states. So I can hold down the control key, select California, Colorado, let's select Texas and New York. I can post these states. So now you can see the selected states. I can also update my database. So you see a grid and pie chart here. Let me close this guy. And we can also have different skins or styles. I can go to Mapbox. So we can use Mapbox to show different styles and skins to make it look a lot nicer. So now let's go to see another example using Mapbox with locations. So this is a map of San Francisco. So I'm able to plot the locations through the longitude and latitude here. So let's go to New Orleans, which is where the Tableau conference was held. So here's the hotel I stayed in, and here's the Tableau conference. Over here is a restaurant I went to where I got to meet other UC Tableau users from UC Berkeley, UC Irvine, and UC Davis. Over here is the Superdome. I got to visit the Superdome. And over here is where I went fishing and actually caught a bass. And since I stayed in an Airbnb, which had frying pans, I was able to fry the fish. And the fish was really, really good. So now let's go into coffee analysis. So when I was at the Tableau conference in New Orleans, I was able to take a class. And one of the things they covered was the Tableau action filter. So I can click on an object, in this case a state, click on this link here, New York, and it's going to drill down to another dashboard. And also with the Tableau action filter, I can create a back button. So I can click on this back button here, and it's going to go back to the initial dashboard. But because I have the JavaScript API event listeners, where you can select multiple objects, I'll probably use that instead. So I can hold down the control key, select California, and let's select another state. How about Texas? Post those states. And now we have California, New York, and Texas. Close this guy. One of the things to note is that when I tried publishing it, the Tableau action filter did not work. So I had to go see my Tableau doctor. And we were able to resolve the issue. Basically, you have to make sure you check Show Workbook Sheets as tabs in both Tableau Public or Tableau Server. So we were able to resolve the issue. So what's next? Let's go over here. So in this proof of concept, I wanted to show how we can drill down from year to quarter to month. One way to do it is to go to another dashboard. So right now it says year, and I go to quarter, and it's going to another dashboard to drill down. But you can use calculated fields referencing parameters and be on the same dashboard. So to my right, I have my radial buttons to navigate. Right now it says year. I can go to quarter, and I can go to month. And I'm on the same dashboard using calculated fields referencing parameters. So now let's go to clinical reporting. So I developed an application for the school of dentistry so they could run financial reports. So I took one of the tables to create this dashboard here. What I wanted to show was that we can get distinct fields into our filter parameters. So these are distinct fiscal years, and I have distinct types here. So right now it says net operating totals. I can select from another distinct type. Let's get revenue totals. So again, I wanted to show how we can get distinct fields into our filter parameters. So now let's go and last but not least, select completed versus pending. So in blue are my completed percentages, and in pink are my pending percentages. Over here I have my alert parameter where I can change the percentages here for red alerts and yellow warning. Over here I have my filter control where, for example, if I just wanted to see red alerts and yellow warnings, I can uncheck this, and it's only going to show my red alerts and yellow warnings. Down here I have my documentation. For example, here's my formula for red alerts and yellow warnings. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.